Hey YouTube. I have searched the internet 3 times over probably, and I've not seen anybody do this yet. I've seen a lot of people inquire about it and ask others if they've done it, but nobody that I've seen has actually done it. What I want to do is take this Flex Seal liquid in the clear and make a silicone slash rubber since it's rubber in a can mold for resin pieces. I molded these with my 10-minute resin that, this stuff here, from a blister pack of 2 little plaster things that my daughter got in her Easter basket that she can paint. And I used the blister pack and it actually worked great. And they popped right out. I can actually use this again. So I'm going to try this. It's going to be a complete experiment. I'll post the results after this and we'll see what happens. I'm going to coat these with a super thin layer of petroleum jelly because I don't know how this stuff's gonna work. Is it gonna bond to the resin? I don't know because I haven't found any info online. So this is a complete experiment. I have no idea what the results are gonna be. So for those of you wondering, I'm about to test it. So keep watching and I will show you what happens. Alright, I thought I'd just film this real quick and tell you guys that this Flex Seal stuff doesn't really have a super strong overpowering odor. It just it smells like, well, like rubbery stuff. It's got a chemical smell, but it's not bad. It's non-toxic and safe for your hands and all that, stuff. But if you're sensitive to anything, you probably still should wear gloves. So I glued these down in this deli meat container. Hillshire Farms, yay. And the bottom of these containers are not super flat, right? So I hot glued them down, but what I did was around the bottom edges on the flat side, I put a small thin coat of petroleum jelly because I know that this stuff's probably going to seep under since the bottom of the container's not even. So we'll see how that comes out. Hopefully I can just trim the, thin edges off. There are some bubbles showing, like they're coming up slowly and then popping. So if you like, I can probably pop this. Yeah, I mean right now it's totally wet completely, but you have to leave it out in the air to dry. This is not like resin where it cures. It's air dry stuff. So it's pretty. There's a big bubble. Wow, pop. So it's not very thick. It's about, oh, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of an inch thick. I don't know how long it's going to take to dry, if it ever really dries all the way at all. There's nothing like, no tricks you can do with it like you can with resin. People say, oh, sit the resin out in the sun or, things like that. But this isn't different than resin. So we're going to see what happens. And I'll probably at least wait 24 hours. But I know that the top will be dry before obviously the inside. I just really hope that it dries all the way through. Don't think this stuff's really meant to be used like this, but in the commercials, if you guys have seen them, which I'm sure 95% of you have, it shows a guy pouring it into a small square cake pan type thing and then picking it up out of there, and it's all flexible and stuff, and it looks about the same thickness as this here. So hopefully it'll dry. I'm gonna give it 24 hours open like this and see what happens, and then we'll see what it looks like, and maybe I'll pull it out, maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see you soon. Okay, well, it has literally been 4.5 days, and this stuff still is wet down, way down in there. And I got it on my finger. I had to, this was just nuts, okay? But I've learned some stuff. So I measured the thickness before I started mushing around in it, and it was 3/4 of an inch thick, which looks very similar to the commercial where the guys poured it in the pan, and then he, you know, picked it up, and it, you know, after it was cured and it was all flexible and all that. So you can see where it was all runny, and I pushed my finger down and kind of, you know, made it bulge up like right there. See if the light, see that where it is, it ran out or whatnot, and then cured. It was a fail, big fail, and but I learned a lot. What I learned was, this will work if you do it in layers, thin layers. So because this stuff air dries and doesn't cure like a resin would do, I am going to redo it and do it that way. So I will still, you know, use this container, and I'll hot glue down my little resin pieces to mold, and then I'll just pour a really thin layer in, let it set, you know, few hours, however long it'll take for it to solidify enough to take another layer, if that makes sense. And then pour another layer and another layer, blah blah blah, until it's thick enough, you know, because this just doesn't work. You cannot pour this Flex Seal stuff thick and expect it to completely dry, because it has to be exposed to the air. I actually just took my X-Acto knife and I cut a slit right here, and it's all mushy right there now. Oh, and also when I cut the small slit and I went to press, it tore. So this stuff will tear easy. So I don't even know if it's going to make a decent mold for resin anyway. Because I think, you know, if there's the slightest little bit of crack, and then you go to like bend it to turn out your finished piece, then it's gonna split. I hope that doesn't happen to me when I do the second try, but so for now, just know that unless you do this in really thin layers and just have patience, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna cure. It's just not. So this was an epic fail. You can see the pieces where I hot glued them. Yeah. Oh wow, look at that. There's a giant bubble moving. Check that out. 4.5 freaking days, guys, and it's still not cured in there because it has to be exposed to the air, and it's not. So my buck, my fail, but good thing for you guys, because now you know. Has to be done in really thin layers, and I'm pretty sure it'll work if you do it that way. So I hope this helps, and like, subscribe, do all that good stuff that YouTubers do, and we'll see you in the next video.